Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. So, in this video, we are answering the question we get asked all the time. The top question. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of don't feel like we're qualified to answer this question. Because when somebody says, "Where did you meet John Brownstone?" I'm like, in the comment section of my blog?
Yeah.
That's a very 2012 answer,
Right.
by the way.
Yes, it is.
There are a lot of things in this world that make me feel old. That's one of them. But part of having a happy, healthy power exchange relationship is having the other person or people to be the relationship part. Yeah. So we're going to answer it today. We're going to answer it imperfectly. I'm going to go ahead and lean on those of you who have met people online. Please comment below where you met your kinky partner, whether it's online or in person. Let us know. Share in the comments as we go. We're sharing things that we've experienced, things that we've seen, and what we've heard from people who talk to us about this kind of stuff. Okay, so I want to start with the one that is the most difficult right now because we're living in a pandemic.
Yes.
The best place, in my opinion, truly continues to be when you can, when it is available to you, is local community.
Absolutely.
Kinksters in your area. One, because as satisfying and great as long distance relationships can be, we formed as a part of a long distance relationship. They're also difficult. So if you can meet somebody who's compatible in your nearby area, that's preferable. That's ideal.
Sure.
It doesn't work for everybody, but it is ideal.
And I know some people say, well, I don't have a local community. Well, sometimes if there isn't one, make one.
That's true. So how do you find your local community? You're actually going to start online first. Our recommendation is FetLife. There is a site called Where's the Munch?
Yes.
Where's the Munch? Where's my Munch? We'll link to it below as soon as I find the actual URL. That site pulls a lot from FetLife, but not solely from FetLife. FetLife is an online social media-ish platform where the kinky among us gather. It can be a place that's hard to navigate because there's a lot of people who don't read bios and unsolicited DMs and are just gross on the internet. Like people everywhere on the internet.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
But if you're like, okay, well, where's my munch? Where's a dungeon? Where's a group? We always recommend FetLife as a place to look. Even if you don't engage in any other way on FetLife, if you're like, I don't like that place, it's a great resource for just searching your area and community to find who's out there doing what. Now, the nice thing about the pandemic is a lot of local communities have gone online. Yes. There are more virtual events where you can get to know people in the chat that are more likely to be closer to you in proximity. So why, here's the big question, why is meeting somebody in your local community an ideal way? If you can manage it, why is it an ideal way? For my purposes, it is a little bit easier to weed out the fakes. If you're like, hi, I'd like to get to know you. Maybe we met online. I'll see you at the local munch. How you doing there? And then some of them never show. Or they show, and you get a vibe. Yeah. You're like, something's not right here.
I mean, on the other side of that, if you meet somebody who is already a part of the local community, a little easier to vet them.
Yes, you can ask around. Hey, have you heard of this person? What do you know? What do you think? Are they safe? What, is there somebody I can go talk to? We did a whole video on vetting. It is a lot easier to vet in your local community if you know at least one or two people, if you get to know one or two people. And you can start those conversations online. Please do. It's a pandemic. But if and when you can get to your local community, then you just get a lot more information. You can watch people play in the dungeon and see how they interact with other people. You can figure out how you interact in person. I know a lot of people are better or different, pick your word, online than they are in person. And that's a good thing. I know I tend to be very awkward in person, but I'm great behind a keyboard. And that doesn't mean that an awkward person is a bad person for you, but it might be something that you're like, this feels better when we're virtual than it does in person. That's important information to have.
True. Now, meeting someone in a dungeon, I know, especially if you have not been to a dungeon before, it can feel a little intimidating. All right? But, again, if you have a good community in your area that runs and operates a dungeon, it is one of the best places to go. It is one of the safest places you can go because people are going to be screened before they're allowed in. All right? There are going to be dungeon monitors there.
Hopefully, most high-quality safe dungeons will have dungeon monitors. Right. Look for that, by the way.
Okay. And if you have any problem whatsoever with somebody there, all you have to do is reach out to a dungeon monitor. Now, I know at the Woodshed, they wear armbands, flashing armbands.
Yeah, the Woodshed in Orlando is where we go.
They wear flashing armbands, so you can pick them out of a crowd, especially, it's dimly lit in the dungeon during a play party, so they have these flashing armbands. At Phoenix Club in Largo, they have very big, bold name tags that they wear on a lanyard.
And the point is to be easily identifiable, so if you have a question or a problem, you know who to reach out to if you're meeting people at your local dungeon. Your munch, hopefully, in a well-run munch community, the organizer makes themselves known from the moment you walk in or in some way so that when you get there, you know who to go to as the person nominally in charge of the group. So if there's a problem, you can hopefully say something. The other nice thing about meeting somebody at a munch is it's a very low pressure situation because it's a vanilla space. There's no kink activity usually. Most people are in their, street clothes. It's not like you're going in to a dungeon on a play party night in full leather and latex or whatever you wear. And then there's the expectations that sometimes come with that. Those expectations shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But you can have the perception that there are expectations.
Let's face it, the thing about munch is, yes, we are all kinksters. We have these unique things that we love and enjoy and indulge in our lives. But being a kinkster isn't the total sum of who we are. So a munch gives people a way to socialize outside of that kink and get to know one another.
Which I think can actually lower some of the pressure on the power exchange dynamic that you might be looking for, because you are in a vanilla space. You are in a space where you're meant to be your vanilla self. So if somebody comes at you out of nowhere with these demands of who you're supposed to be and what role you're supposed to take on, and you don't even know them, those are massive red flags that are going up in a situation where you can more easily remove yourself and get to another place or leave altogether or go find somebody. So munches, we've mentioned this in the vetting video, they're great for part of the vetting process. Like, oh, we've been talking online, let's meet here at the munch for the first time, and you'd be amazed at how many people don't show. But for being completely new to your community and going to a munch, you're getting to know somebody over a burger and fries, over a cup of coffee, where you're talking about work, you're talking about traffic, you're talking about the weather, and the pressure of the kink conversation is greatly lowered. And so it's a little bit easier to get an idea of not the role this person might fulfill for you or with you, but how you sort of gel with them. Like, is it an easy conversation? Do you find yourself wanting to continue the conversation? Are they creeping you out? Like, these are good things to know and are sometimes a little bit easier to figure out in person. Now, that's the ideal, and we don't all get to live the ideal. The second place to meet people, that the most common, is online. And the reason we get this question so often, I think, from fellow kinksters is because there are too many options. So let me say this at the top. No matter what resources we list here, and we will only be touching on some of them, kinky people are everywhere, including online. Wherever people gather, there will be a kinky person there. That being said, it makes sense that you would want to go to a kink-friendly platform or a place designed specifically for kinksters. It will not be a perfect place. There will be the people trolling. There will be the predators who slide into DMs. There will be the people who don't care about boundaries and consent. that is definitely going to happen.
And I think it's a matter of finding the people who speak to you. So sometimes, if you go to one and it's not for you, you try a different one. And you may have to try several different things before you really find the ones that you click with. But there are enough options out there that you can try it. And just because you don't like one doesn't mean, it's a failure. It's just not for you.
Right, exactly. This is about finding your community, your people, the place where you vibe, the place where you feel the most comfortable and can navigate the online platform. Nothing will turn me off of wanting to try to meet people than not being able to find the functions of the platform to use it. So the first and most obvious are dating apps. I'm not gonna lie, I have zero experience with a dating app. Can't even imagine using them. Please, in the comments, those of you who have used dating apps to meet fellow kinksters, advise away. Tell us the things you've learned. One specific dating app that's kink oriented that we have heard about is Collar Space. It used to be known as Collar Me, but I know people who, and you do too, who have met other kinksters on OkCupid, on Tinder, on Match, on name it, and
they're there somewhere.
Right, and the reason being is because kinky people are where people are, because we're just another member of society. So you can find each other. It becomes more difficult if you're weeding through a lot of non-kinky people. Yes. I get that. Yeah. I have sort of watched and overheard the debates about, should I put my kinky stuff in my profile? And I know some people say they absolutely do, because you want people to self-select out of that and go, oh, that's not for me. I know some people who say they don't, because it either brings attention they don't want and crosses boundaries in kind of a yucky way, or they're open to meeting people who have not fully embraced their kink yet. And also, if you're using a dating app where you're using your real name and picture, you might not want that information associated with you. So whether you put your kink information in a dating app profile or not depends on a lot of factors. Most importantly, your boundaries and your comfort level and what keeps you safe. But any dating app, there will be kinky people there. Then there are online platforms that are either a bit like chat sites and social media sites, or those that are directly social media. Right. So we have a list. So we've already mentioned FetLife, most common, most popular. Yep. Then there's The Cage, thecage.co. We have worked with them in the past. It's a great site. It's growing. It's bigger than it used to be, not as big as it will be one day. Right. They have different boards and communities that you can join. Swing Towns is technically for swingers and poly folk, but there are a lot of kinky people there.
Yes, there are. Yes, there
and
are.
it's one of those sites that allows you to very easily connect with people in your local area. Like if you choose to, you can put your information in, and it'll tell you how many people and who are close by, and if they're in your region or state or whatever. There are social media platforms that are kink friendly. The first one that comes to mind is Kink Space.
Kink Space,
which is a take on Facebook,
right?
It's similar to Facebook.
What's the other one? Please Me.
I have an account there, but I haven't spent a lot of time there.
I haven't either. There's so many social media sites.
Overwhelming.
It's impossible to be around them all. MeWe. If you go to MeWe, and you would be shocked. You search, different. Put in, BDSM, different topics, and you will find a group for it. They are there. It's a matter of taking the time to look for it and find which one works for you.
Exactly. Then there are chat platforms.
Yes.
Discord servers.
Yep.
Devoted to kink. Kik.
Yes.
We get a lot of people who find us from Kik.
Right.
Hi, if you're from Kik. I've known WhatsApp groups to kind of get started. Those aren't open, obviously, but people bring in their friends and they create entire communities through WhatsApp where you might be brought into that group because one of your kinky friends is like, yeah, come with me. I'll add you to this. Next thing you know, you're talking to kinksters you wouldn't have known otherwise.
Right.
The thing I've noticed about Discord servers, Kik chats, all these kinds of things is that it has its own built-in vetting process usually. And what I mean by that is you don't know those exist until somebody tells you about it, until a friend that you've made online or somebody mentions in another group that you're in, hey, there's this server, hey, there's this chat. If you're interested, let me know. I can get you the link to get in. And it's not perfect. It's certainly not a perfect vetting process.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the new age version of back in the old days before internet, when you used to have to kind of meet somebody to find out about the local community.
Yes. Oh, yes. Before there was FetLife, you didn't know a group existed until somebody found your little kinky newbie ass and went, here, honey, come with me.
Right.
Let me take you to where we are. Now it's a little bit more widely available online, but in some of those groups, somebody has to have seen you, identified you, gotten to know you, and gone, I'll send you an invite, I'll send you a link.
Right.
I'll say it's okay that you come in. And that does not make it a perfect space.
No.
Gross people exist everywhere too. But that is how you get into some of those groups.
Right.
Now, the mainstream social media platforms, kinky people are there. As a whole bunch of people just came over recently, as of the time of recording this, from Facebook, I'm once again reminded of the amount of secret BDSM groups on Facebook.
Secret groups,
So many groups with thousands of people. Now, the thing about online, Facebook or otherwise, is it still has all of the problems of online. So there are still the people who make gross comments. There are still the people who don't respect boundaries. There are still the people who make a lot of assumptions. And you have to weed through a lot of that.
Sure.
And if you are an online kinkster who has to navigate mostly the online world to have a community and you're exhausted, that's understandable. I highly recommend taking breaks from it every once in a while, just so you can remember what it's like to not be grossed out by humanity, so that you can like people again. Okay, I think that's a fine thing. There's also, did I mention it? There's fetish.com. If you are on Twitter, when the hashtags aren't shadow banning is totally a thing. You can use hashtags to find other kinky people talking about different kinky topics. And the thing I caution on any social media platform that's like an open platform where it could be, it's not just a select group of people who have said, I'm kinky, I identify this way, I'm going to sign up. It's the whole wide world on that platform. Be really selective about who you choose to follow. Just because somebody's using the BDSM hashtag or the kink life hashtag or dating while kinky or whatever, it doesn't mean they're ultimately somebody you want like spewing their stuff at you. Check out their timeline, see what they're posting regularly.
Right.
Make the decision of, is this somebody I want in my feed all the time? And if so, start following. And when it makes sense, start a conversation, comment on something they've posted, share something they've posted that you find interesting or helpful or whatever, and slowly friendships and acquaintanceships can form online. Next thing you know this person, and you've gotten to know this person through Twitter. And now you can see these other people that they're talking to, and they seem like interesting people. And that person loves to post these funny memes, and I love to laugh at funny memes. And now we have a point of connection. It's a slow process when you go in as a kinky person to a mostly vanilla space to try to find other kinksters, because you are having to sort of pick through everybody who's there. But this goes back to the thing we say all the time, and we've already said it twice in this video. Wherever people are, there are kinky people. We are part of the whole fabric of society. So you can go in any group, online especially, of a lot of people. The kinky people are there. We might not be identifying and waving our kink flag around. Some of us are, but not all of us. So it's harder that way. But when you're like, where do I meet kinky people? Wherever people are. Yeah. Wherever people are.
And I just want to say real quick, the online kink world, like any other online world, can be a wonderful place. You do meet your share of craziness.
Oh, sure.
All right, like any other place, there is a cacophony of madness. People, I get it too. On different places, the mute, delete, block and report button is your friend.
Yes, and you don't have to follow back everybody who follows you.
Right.
You don't have to answer every DM you get. There are some DMs, I mean, the Loving BDSM platforms that we're on FetLife, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Right. I try to answer most of those messages, but every once in a while I get one, I'm like, no, not touching that one.
Right.
You can't make me answer that one. Because I get to set those boundaries. I get to set those limits.
Right.
I am we're gonna show our age. We did meet in the comment section of our mutual blogs.
At the time.
I still have, we both still have the blog. We're just not publishing to it very often. If you are reading content put out by a kinky person that you admire, respect, or have just found and find them interesting, and they have a comment section, feel free to use that comment section. Yeah. You might not talk directly to the writer, depends on how big the site is or how active it is, but other people might comment. I have seen plenty of people get to know one another in comment sections before. The comment sections of things are not always the worst possible places on the planet. Yeah. They can be. Believe me, as somebody who reads the YouTube comments of other channels too often, they can be.
I, like I told this one many years ago, she can tell me anything. Do so with respect. Same thing with you comment on somebody's writing or something, do it with respect. You never know where that may lead.
And I think that's the thing. I almost think that the biggest problem most of us face is that the entire world is open to us online, and so we can get to know and be around people in a virtual way in an unlimited fashion, and that's overwhelming. That's a lot. So I think we also have this, I'm on 85 platforms. I've got all these apps on my phone. How come I don't have a bunch of friends? Well, one, how are you engaging with those? How are you using those? Are you talking to people? Or do you feel comfortable talking to people? I'm a known lurker. It takes a lot for me to talk to a stranger on the internet in a social media feed. Clearly not on YouTube or a podcast. I usually wait for somebody to say something to me first, and then I try to respond in the way that makes the most sense for me and within my boundaries. But if you think that you're going to make accounts on all these apps and all these platforms, and then the kinky community is going to roll in, it just doesn't work that way. No. You have to do some level of participation within your comfort level.
Yes.
And truly everywhere. I didn't have it on the list, but it comes to me from time to time. There are BDSM group subreddits all over Reddit. Some are better than others, but they are there too.
That was the other one I was thinking of, yeah.
So wherever you're spending the majority of your time online, there will be kinky people there. Now, the one thing I want to say is if you're going to navigate the online world as a kinky person, you do have to make the decision. Are you going to just have your name and your whatever regular handle you usually use online out there, or are you going to make a separate kink account and persona? Again, that's completely up to you. It's about your comfort level and your boundaries and who you might run across and how you feel about somebody from your vanilla life seeing you.
Right. And some people are completely out. Others are like, no way, not me.
Right.
And that's okay. Whichever one works for you. Right. That's a very personal decision.
But that is a thing you can do if you're looking on Facebook and it's, your legal name with all of your family connections and your employer connections and your coworkers. You're like, okay, go create a separate profile. It's okay. Facebook makes it harder than other platforms, unfortunately. I used to have both my legal name, which I still do, and Ocala Lord's Facebook profile. I do not anymore because they were assholes about it. But that is something to consider as well. You make a separate email address, use separate platforms. We probably should do a video at some point about how to do that or how we have done that. Yeah. Because I did it as a blogger first, and now I do it just to kind of keep like my vanilla life semi-separate from everything else because it's just easier that way. We should probably do that. If anybody would like that video, comment down below. Let us know. Right. I'll put it on the list if there's interest. But yeah, so there's a lot of places that you can meet people. I am a big fan of saying pick the site that you're most comfortable with because then you know how to navigate it. Maybe create a different persona. And then go searching, go looking, and then take the time to get to know people. And if you start online before you ever go in person, that's totally fine. Some people start online and they stay online. And that is fine. We do believe, personal preference, our personal opinion, that in-person local communities are ideal, but we know not everybody has that. Not everybody has access. Not everybody has the desire. Not everybody has the ability, and that's fine. Online community is just as valid. But yeah, when you're tempted to go, but where are all the kinky people? They're all around.
They're everywhere.
Just like you, kinky person out there sitting in the pickup line at your kid's school, you are a kinky person at the pickup line at a school. Guess what? Kinky people are everywhere because you are everywhere.
In the grocery store.
You know, we do go to the grocery store. They're kinksters. We're so funny that way.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I like to eat once in a while.
I mean, I love to go to a good Target.
Yeah.
I'm at Starbucks.
Or a coffee shop. Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully that gives you some places to look, some things to think about. Truly, truly, for those of you who have been navigating the kink world for any amount of time and you have met kinky people, whether it's for relationships or just community, in online spaces or your experiences, feel free to comment below. Let's all learn together. Yeah. But the next time I get this question, I'm sending this video link to that person. That's what I'm doing.
There you go.
So that's it for us.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. We love validation and affirmations around here. If you really enjoyed it and want more of it, consider subscribing to the channel.
And click that notification bell so you get updates of new content.
Sure, do what Daddy says. And if you really enjoy this and want access to our own kinky community, you can join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/KaylaLords. Bye.
Bye.